little bit of warm up again. In this module, in this video, what we're going to discuss next is about research. Before we start with the research, what I invite you to do is to follow me with a little bit of stretching exercise. So what we are going to do, we are going to breathe in and out. If you're sitting down, I invite you to stand up. Bring your hands up in the air, nice and high. Interlace your fingers up to the ceiling and stretch up a little bit slightly. And let's turn to the left. And make this sound. And when you do this sound, you relax, you bring all the tension out of the body. And now we turn to the right. And now we turn to the back. Leave your hands gently towards the back. And gently, smoothly, we go forward. We can sit in this position perhaps for 10 seconds and then sit here, relax a little bit. I hurt my back. Now we gently and slowly come up. Engage your core muscles and come up gently, slowly. Give me a high five, say, you are awesome. You are awesome. Or we can do this. You are awesome. Or I'm awesome. Say this with me, please. We give ourselves a high five and say, I'm awesome. I'm awesome. Thank you, well done. How are these stretches help us? And I'll make two poses for you. And I'll ask you something after the pose. So let's say that we have a state of happiness and a state of sadness. So on which pose I express sadness and on which pose I express happiness. So for example, this pose. And then we have the second pose. Which pose you think, in which pose I was a bit upset, a little bit angry, and which pose I was happy, I was confident. So quite often a state can influence our pose. When we receive bad news or something, our heart beats hard and we tend to go in a certain position. If the state can influence our body, can we with our body influence our state? The answer is yes. You're right. So that's why we do exercises. The moment when we do exercises, we bring energy in the body and any movement, for example, do this with me now. Let's do this for 15 seconds. So even a move like this, very basic move. And dance, for example, we can dance or we can run statically. Then we can do this. Only 15 seconds. Stop. How do you feel? How is your body? Do you feel more energetic? Do you feel a bit more vibrant? And this is something we're going to discuss later. This is a way to get more energy and to get, there is a pose we're going to discuss. I'm going to show you in the body language. In the body language, there is a pose which only 2 minutes used. There was an experiment, actually. I'll share an experiment. I just remember I've heard about an experiment. I'll be only 1 minute because we need to move on with the research. The only thing she knows is she's told, you go for this job interview here, you make this pose, and then you go normally, you sit normally, and then you go for this interview. So that's the only thing she knew. She did not know exactly what the experiment would be. So in the first exercise and the first time, she said, for 2 minutes, Just do this pose, something very simple you're going to see later. And that pose alone, it triggers hormones, it changes the body, the chemical reaction. It's amazing how it works. I'm going to show that point, the scientific, there are a lot of videos out there. And they made a picture when she went after doing this pose, and then they made a picture when she didn't. She stayed as normal and went for the interview. And the third person was asked, which one would you hire? And guess which one he said? Just before, you know that you heard perhaps that the first 5 seconds is that impression. The first 5 seconds. Have you seen someone without knowing anything about them? And then you are like, ooh, I like this person. Ooh, I'm not going to ask, I'm going to engage with this person. Why? What happened in those 5 seconds? You did not know nothing about him. You had that, you feel there was something energetic. And this is how, and this is why my focus is on communication, is on body language, because with these little things, that's how you get the desired job, that's how you get your secure job. There's a saying, perhaps you heard, that a battle is won before it started, and that's what we're doing. I like it to make you aware of certain elements, and even if I don't have, or I spend little time like on a CV and like I've done, I like it to focus on these elements. What do you have to do to get in a room, and in five seconds you attract that energy, you create that energy. So we're going to explore this later. I want a bit longer here. I like you to understand the context, and this is the context, this is why, and this is what passions me, because I like to be, how can I do this, how can I make an impact, how do I stand out from the rest, how now I'm special, because we are all special, you all have a skill, a passion, a desire, and my purpose is to bring that desire to shine, to bring the best out of you in front of a person. Because what I've noticed many times in CVs, I've had some very good quality people. And it takes skill of a manager to overcome that stressful, because when a person goes in an interview, it feels a little bit stressed, isn't it? You have that tightness. We're not quite actually normally, not acting normally. So for a manager, it's very important to have that skill, and he would question, if he has a good skill, management skill and questions, he can kind of put that on the side, he can go to the core. However, not everybody is trained for that, and then the first thing that will come to him, it will be this shine and this, and he might interpret that that's how you are. And we all know what shine is, and it's not. It doesn't exist. It's how we feel. It's a moment of feeling. So that's why I'm going to focus more on the rest.